Hello, and welcome back to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. I am your host and Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donnie Corum, and this is the show where we discuss how to find, figure, fund, fix, and flip a foreclosure deal. On this week's episode, we're celebrating Christmas. I hope you're joining us here and having a great time on your Christmas holiday. But also, we're going to take on a problem that a lot of investors have, which is after they make a bunch of money doing real estate investing, where do they put that money? This is going to be a great show. Stay tuned. Hello, and welcome back to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. Let's hop right into it. It's the Christmas season and the last show of the Foreclosure Deals Coach season here in 2024. I hope you guys have had a great year. I just want to take a moment to thank you guys for tuning in each and every single episode. We had a lot of people who attended the show regularly. We had commenting out there. We had people asking questions. And most importantly, we had a lot of people reach out to discuss getting into the foreclosure profit system and starting their investment journey. I certainly hope you will join us more here on the show in 2025. And of course, if you're ready to take this by the reins and start doing foreclosure deals in 2025, this could be your year. You just have to decide that you're going to take that first step. Hop on out to foreclosureprofitsystem.com, where you can learn more about how to get started in finding, figuring, funding, fixing, and flipping a deal with our very done with you system that guarantees a result of making at least $25,000 on a deal. We have a sponsor for the show. We are working with Deal Check. I got to tell you, I use Deal Check each and every single day to analyze deals that I'm coming across. People use the Deal Check application to get more confident about their ability to analyze deals. And honestly, I simply could not do my job without the Deal Check application. I highly recommend you check that out. Head out to fdcdealcheck.com, use the code DEAL, DEAL, and you'll get 20% off an annual subscription. This is the app that I use to analyze my deals. It's the figure stage. And in the figure stage, we really take on how to determine the three numbers that matter most in a real estate investment journey, which of course are finding deals, figuring out if that deal's a good deal, so the deal analysis and the funding of it. But we also got to figure out the three numbers that matter in acquisition, which are purchase price, the rehab budget, and the sales price or after repaired value. If you are confident in those three numbers when you're doing a deal, you can be confident that you're buying the right deal to make you a profit. Deal Check allows you to enter all of your data into one system and then gives you the ability to get extrapolated data that you can use to pitch your deal to your lender, to understand your deal better, to explain your rehab budget to your contractors, so they can itemize rehab, and a bunch of other cool benefits of using the Deal Check system. So please check that out. Head out to FDC Deal Check. I am an affiliate of the Deal Check program, and I would be honored and to keep the show going by your support by going to the Deal Check application and using that. All right, let's get into it for today. We are talking about what you do after you start making money on your flips. Here's the thing. It was 2020 and, well, actually 2019 when I woke up and had a crazy revelation that my wife and I were going to take on the thought to be impossible task of doing 40 flips in 1 year. 50 flips in 1 year. The target was 50 deals in one calendar year. Up until that point, we had done maybe 16 or 17 was our best year, okay? So really went after it this year, determining that we were going to pull off all the stops and just really go after it. Well, 2020 had the COVID crisis, which we didn't plan for when this goal was set out. But despite that, losing about a quarter of productivity, we were still able to do 40 flips in the 2020 market. We did 47 flips in 2021, and then we did 45 flips in 2022, We were at full steam at that point, but unfortunately, as you all know, interest rates caught up to us in the 2022 market, really slowed us down, so we only hit 45 flips. But I'm confident that had we not had that big interest rate increase halfway through the year, that we would have hit 60 units in the 2022 year. So obviously, if you take the average profit, we were making on a flip, which was somewhere about $20,000 to $25,000 per deal, which of course is what I want my clients to make on their deals as well, because we're looking for easy, consistent deals. And you multiply that by 47 deals in the first year. And I got to be honest, we were blowing that average away because while we were doing the flip, we saw increases in the property. If you can imagine how quickly appreciation was taking place, if we had a 1 or 2 month remodel, that house could have gone up by 5, maybe even 8% in that time, because we were in a state of hyperinflation. So the margins during that time were much more in the 20 to 25 we were targeting, because we were making more money while we owned it. That was purely luck of the draw. I can't take credit for that. But the bottom line is, let's say it was a 30K average profit on 40 units. That means our gross profit in that year was $1.2 million. Okay. Now we had overhead, operating staff, we had office space, advertising to produce deals, all the things that goes into running a construction company at that level. So we certainly didn't keep all of that gross profit. I would guesstimate somewhere between $600,000 and $800,000 is the actual take home on that yield, but it was a lot of money in a very short period of time, especially for two people who had never made that much money in that short period of time before. So what we didn't figure out, what I hope to impart on you, is the ability to take that money and invest it properly, so when these crazy bubbles pop, and they always do, okay? The thing about real estate investing you have to understand is it's cyclical. You're going to see 1 or 2 years of absolute prosperity, and then you're going to see 1 or 2 years of what the heck is going on? Why can't we seem to get things together? I will tell you that since 22, halfway through the 22 year, we definitely have been in those bust years where it's been very, very difficult for clients and myself to do deals. It's not to say we're not doing deals and we're not finding that profitability, but it certainly isn't as easy as it was in those 20, 21, and 22 years. So a lot of investors come to me when they're making money in real estate investing, and they ask the question, what do I do with this income after I've made money on deals? And my general advice on this, and I'm also a Series 65 license holder, which makes me a registered investment advisor with the SEC. I just passed my test. I'm not with a firm yet. But while I'm figuring out what firm I'm with, the investment advice I'm giving people is focus on assets that are outside of the real estate class because of the cyclical nature of real estate. You want to find something to do with that money that is not real estate related, or at least is more on the passive side. Now, when you think passive real estate, the first thing you're thinking of is buying rental property. And rental properties are a great semi-passive investment class. The problem is it's still real estate, okay? So although you want to do some rental investment, my general advice is to get the money outside of the real estate industry entirely. So what do I mean? Where do I suggest that you go? Well, there's lots of areas that are still more active, but my favorite passive investment, to be honest with you, is stocks that pay a consistent dividend. Because with dividend investing, typically speaking, you're buying shares in a corporation that pays out a dividend, 4%, 8%, 10%. I've seen dividends of up to 12% with certain companies. That obviously is not maintainable for a long period of time. But if you could take part of your earnings and place them into the investment asset class of dividend producing stock. Now, here's the thing about dividend stock. Because of the dividend, it doesn't tend to go up as fast as equity stock, where you're looking for stocks that are going to see big, significant gains year over year in the stock price. That is not as much going to be the case in dividend-paying stocks, like Dow Chemicals comes to mind. AT&T was a huge dividend stock back in the day, not so much now, but there's a handful of stocks out there where if you take the money from flipping, you can, in fact, find the retirement or financial freedom that you're looking for from real estate investing. Whereas if you try to keep this in the flipping machine, as we did, if you try to keep flipping houses actively for your entire career, you're never going to find any sort of freedom. Okay? You'll find the gains financially, but it's like day trading. You have to do it actively all the time. And unlike day trading, it requires a consistent amount of effort to locate deals, which is something I largely handle for my clients. So you can eliminate that as a foreclosure profit system member. The analysis of deals is more data entry. That's not so hard, really, once you get your momentum on that. When you've got great funding partners like you would have with Traction Capital, my lending arm that you get access to when you sign up for the system, and just in general, as an experienced investor, the funding is semi-active. But where this really takes a turn and becomes a non-passive investment is the fixed stage. And that's where my wife and I really met an impasse. We were flipping that many properties. See, I really break my team up into an offensive position and a defensive position. If you're a football person, you get what I'm saying here. But on the offense, it's the first three F's: find, figure, fund. And the defense is fix and flip. Well, there are great systems that we do largely for you in the foreclosure profit system to help you with the find, figure, fund stage. But when you get to the fix and flip stage, it becomes a little bit more active in investment. As a result, as my job got easier as I built momentum, because we were finding so many deals that the pipeline just got easier and easier to find those deals. We were analyzing deals in minutes, not hours, because market's trending upwards, right? So how hard it is to analyze, is it to analyze an asset that you know is likely to go up in value by the time you finish it? That's a pretty easy analysis, right? If it's already a good deal and it's probably going to be a better deal by the time you get to the end of it, that's a pretty easy analysis process. And of course, funding. If you're working with private lenders, as I broker with Traction Capital and help you to build relationships with, the lending process gets increasingly easier the more deals that you do. Okay, so those three, find, figure, and fund, are pretty easy over time. Where this gets more difficult is the fixed stage. Every house is a little bit different. Every house comes with its unique issues and things you got to do. Now, there are some things we're going to do on every deal. Usually includes paint and flooring, which makes up 80% of the property. So you can bang out a lot of it just by getting the paint and flooring done. But then you've got 20%, which is the systems, the drywall, the texture, the cabinets, the countertops. Everything is much different when you're trying to do a flip. So as my job got easier, the first three F's on the offense, my wife's job got harder. And needless to say, that did not make things great in the Quorum household, okay? As a result, this is not an asset class that you want to do for the long term. You want to do this as a way to build the revenue that you need to invest in more passive asset classes. One of those is, again, finding deals, finding passive assets like rental property, but then there's dividend paying stocks. From there, I'm a serial entrepreneur. So for me, I really like to play with other investment vehicles entirely. And I want to show you one of those investment vehicles right now, because we're having a lot of fun with it. Recently, there was a sale at Fiat. Now, a lot of car manufacturers obviously are trying to do blowout sales on their cars, but Fiat was particularly doing a great deal in that they wanted to offload inventory really bad. So much so, okay, that they were offering a lease deal that I simply could not pass up. And I'm going to show this to you because I leased out two matching Fiats, and I put those Fiats on the Turo platform as rental cars. Let me load my screen here so you can see what I'm talking about real quick. Here we go. All right. So here we are. This is my new fleet of cars. Now, this car I literally bought yesterday. I got a great deal on it. There's something about selling stuff on Christmas. So Christmas Day, I get in a conversation with a guy who's a fellow serial entrepreneur, and we're sitting at home. We just open up our presents, right, for the day, and it's like, what are we going to do with all this time now? Nothing's really operating. So we ended up doing some business, met a great guy. His name is Al, and really enjoyed spending a little time with him. And I bought his other Fiat, a 500e 2014. We're in the process of getting that reconditioned. But prior to that, I picked up two brand new Fiat 500Es that they gave me, wait for it, for $19 a month. Okay, so I'm leasing the car for $19 a month. I am putting it on the Turo platform. Check this thing out. Laura likes to say they're cute. I really don't like describing my assets as cute, but she says, oh, they're so cute. Okay, If you're into that, so be it. But it is a great investment. $19 a month going out and $40 to $50 a day coming back in on these vehicles. So I have them on the Turo platform. I've hired a manager to assist me with moving the cars around so I don't have to do the day-to-day if I'm traveling or lazy, whatever it happens to be. But this one asset's going to bring in, after expenses, somewhere in the neighborhood of $800 to $1,000 per month for me doing very little. And I'm funding that with the money I'm making from flipping. So you take the flip, you turn it into a different asset class that's a little bit more passive than fix and flipping or real estate in general. So that's one example. I now have 2 fiats in the system, and I've got the third one I'll be putting in the system here in a little bit that I just bought for like $6,000. That's also going to bring $30 to $40 a day in profit. Give the numbers on that a little bit of thought, okay? If you're investing $6,000, and on the leases, I'm not even investing that, but on this car I purchased for $6,000, I'm making $40 a day, $30 a day maybe, let's say $40 a day in a typical market. I'm going to rent the car out, let's call it 15 to 20 days a month. Okay, it really depends on demand, but I think we can get to 15 to 20 in utilization depending on the season. Okay, that is about $800 a month in gross profit that this is bringing in on a $6,000 investment. Or if you annualize that, you are talking 800 times 12 or $10,000 a year coming in on a $6,000 investment. Okay, is it going to last forever? Nope. Cars wear out. Things are going to go bad along the way. There'll be a residual value I can sell the vehicle for later on. On the leases, I got to give the car back in 27 months, or I can buy it out for $15,000, $16,000, something like that. But even then, eventually, the car is going to wear out, and it's going to require additional investment. But right now, I am forming an entirely new business using the money I'm making from real estate to create income in other areas. That's the objective here. Dividend paying stock, well, that's easy. You put it in the stock, they give you a 6-8% dividend, whatever it happens to be, and you get a check either month. Most of them pay quarterly, so you get your quarterly dividend or biannual dividend check. I have one friend who has about $1.5 million in dividend paying stock. He's getting a 5 to 8% dividend on that. I think it fluctuates. I want to say it's closer to 8% in the oil and gas industry. So he's basically getting $10,000, $20,000 a month coming in every single month. If you figure 1.4 million at 8% would be at $120,000 a year in dividends. He gets that quarterly. So $30K a month, $30K a quarter is coming in for him doing absolutely nothing. Now, obviously, it took some time to build to $1.4 million in dividend paying stock, but he did that by using other asset classes in the oil and gas business. So as he flipped, commodities in oil and gas, he used that money to put it into this also oil stock, but he used that income now to live off of, where he can do whatever he wants, whenever he wants. That's something that simply cannot happen when you're flipping houses. It is always an active investment vehicle. It is a great way to build your asset base. So because you're making $25,000 on a deal, if you can do that 4 times a year and you still have your day job, support your family, provide for your income, because the upside of doing 4 deals a year is it doesn't require full-time investment of your time, right? With my team, my product management, my construction, I take a lot of the heavy lifting off of you. So you're just kind of hopping in on a part-time basis, visiting the house, getting parts, things of that nature, so you can maintain your day job while making an extra $100,000 a year when you get to 4 deals per year, which is the objective of the foreclosure profit system. So you take that money, roll it into something else, that turns into dividends, money coming in for you doing absolutely nothing, and that's how you get the mailbox money that you're ultimately looking for. It cannot happen with flipping. It is far too active. Even if you build a very robust team, which we had when we were doing 47 flips, it was still a time and a half job. No doubt there are systems that it could have put in place to simplify it down and get more people on the team, but that added to the overhead. And because flipping is seasonal, when the season hit that it wasn't as lucrative, we were going to be forced to lay people off. We have to let people go, where everything about that kind of broke down if you have a huge amount of overhead and the market cycles the other way. Okay, so the takeaway is don't do that. Get into flipping, understanding that it's a way to build asset class in other areas. What are you passionate about, right? You can use flipping. I'll tell you a story. You probably heard of the country band Big and Rich, right? Big and Rich, they were actually real estate investors before they got started funding their own deals, funding their own parties, concerts, etc. Now they're opening for the likes of Blake Shelton. They dropped some huge albums. They became big and rich. Right. So is it ironic? I think that, right? You can do this. You can filter. And I'm a music guy. So obviously that would be my passion, is I would want to move this into the music industry, etc. You can pursue whatever passion you're looking for in real estate once you have a system that can consistently generate income for you in doing so. The key is getting that system developed. And a lot of people don't understand how to get started, where to get going. There's Big and Rich for you. I'm a big country fan. So I met, you probably heard I met Darius Rucker this year. I'm hugely into the industry, but to get started in the industry, Big and Rich leveraged the real estate side and probably still do it today as a side hustle, because it's something, once you have the system set up, it's very easy to continue doing so. So pursue your passion. If you're a car person, look at Turo, right? If you like the stock market, you got a passion about the oil industry, take the money you make from flipping, put that in a dividend paying stocks in the oil industry, etc. But your objective is to make enough money that you no longer need money to function. And this year, as we enter the new year, guys, I want to encourage you to really sit and think, run your budget, act as if you already make enough money to never have to work a day in your life, and determine what that number is going to be, and then figure out how much investment you have to make to hit that reality. Okay, if you need some help with your financial planning as a registered investment advisor, I'm happy to sit down with you and break this thing out. But one of the best vehicles I know of to get there is fixing and flipping foreclosure real estate. You're buying it below market, you're fixing it to market, and you're selling it to make a profit, generally within the time frame of 90 to 120 days. With a foreclosure profit system, you can do as many deals as you want per year. The system is annual, but if you don't make at least $25,000 in take-home profit every year in the system, the next year is absolutely free. Okay, because I don't want people in the system who aren't making a profit. I'm not saying it's going to be easy or fun or entertaining. I am saying as an investment vehicle, you can get very wealthy as long as you know what to do after you start doing deals. So that's really our show for today, guys. Take advantage of that. Get out there, start doing deals. And if you're ready to go, I want you to head out to Foreclosure Profit System and let's schedule a call, discuss whether the real estate investment is the right move for you right now. Here's the banner ad again, foreclosureprofitsystem.com. And if you're not quite ready, if you're still figuring out how to find your own deals, you're still learning about the analysis phase, etc. You're more of a do-it-yourselfer, you don't quite have the capital to get going and have somebody find the deal for you, then consider getting started with your analysis by using the Deal Check application. Go to FTCDealCheck.com. You can check that out and get information about deals, do run comp analysis, determine your deal sheet. And when you get that put together, send that deal to me. I will help you to analyze it. And as a private money broker, I will help you to find the funding that you need to do as many deals as you want to do in 2025. Guys, I am so excited about the year to come with all the changes in politics, interest rates starting to creep down, but not quite getting there as fast as we'd like. I believe that 2025 is going to be an excellent year for the real estate investor. I certainly hope you'll continue to join me on this journey each and every single week right here on the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. With that, this is Donnie Corum, your Foreclosure Deals Coach, thanking you so much for tuning in each and every single week and reminding you now and always, don't buy a house, buy a deal.